You know that weird feeling you get sometimes when you're talking to an AI? One second, it seems like it totally gets you, and the next, it says something that feels like a complete 180. Today, we're going to zoom in on one of those moments. We're not talking about AI in general, but about why a system can feel like it changed its mind when really it never had one to begin with.
Okay, so let's set the scene with a super simple, everyday example. You're chatting with an AI and you give it a basic fact. You just type, "My favorite color is blue, suggest a car color."
And the AI comes back with exactly what you'd hope for. A blue car would be a great choice for you. Perfect. It seems like it listened, it understood, and the reply makes total sense. So far, so good. Now, based on that little exchange, we start to form an expectation, a totally reasonable one. This is the first piece of the puzzle. What did we think was going on? I mean, think about it for a second. What's your gut feeling about what the AI knows now? You naturally assume it's logged that piece of info. You think it now believes that you like blue, and it's going to work from that belief from now on. It's how we deal with people, so it makes sense we'd think that here too. But this is where things get weird. This is the exact moment where that expectation just gets shattered. Let's see what happened next.
You decide to just confirm it, You ask a simple follow-up. So you think blue's the best color for a car. You're just checking to see if it's sticking to its guns.
And then you get this. Not necessarily. Red cars are very popular. Wait, what? All of a sudden, that consistency is just gone. It feels like a total contradiction. It just recommended blue, but now it's bringing up red? What is happening?
So the big question is, why did the AI change its mind? It seemed to know you liked blue, so why the sudden pivot? Well, the answer is, it couldn't have changed its mind. You can't change something you never had in the first place.
To really get what's going on, we need to peek behind the curtain, not at the code, but at the core idea of how it works. And a famous thought experiment actually explains this perfectly. It's called the Chinese room argument, and what it does is draw a really clear line between just matching symbols and actually truly understanding what they mean, and you'll see how it maps directly onto our little AI problem. Okay, so here's how it goes. Picture a person in a locked room who doesn't speak a single word of Chinese. Slips of paper with Chinese characters get passed under the door. Now, this person has a giant rulebook. All it does is say, if you see this symbol, send out that symbol. They don't know what it means, they just follow the instructions and slide the new paper back out.
Now, to someone outside who does speak Chinese, the answers coming out seem totally intelligent. It looks like they're having a real conversation. But here's the kicker. The person inside the room has zero idea what's being discussed. They are just a symbol matching engine.
And that is a brilliant picture of what the AI is doing. The AI is the person in that room. Your prompt is the paper slid under the door, and its answer is the paper it sends back out.
It's just taking your words, the symbols, and using its massive programming, the rulebook, to come up with a statistically probable response. It's not thinking about your favorite color. It's just running a very, very fancy matching game. It has no beliefs, no opinions, no memory like we do.
Okay, so if the AI is just matching symbols, why are we so convinced it has a mind? Well, it turns out our own brains are taking a really helpful but sometimes misleading shortcut. We naturally fall into what's called the intentional stance. It just means that when we see a complex system, could be a pet, another person, or an AI, we explain its actions by acting as if it has beliefs and desires. It's just way easier to say the AI wants to help me than it is to think about its complex algorithms. And this gets cranked up to 11 by something called the ELIZA effect. It's this deep-down habit we have of seeing human-like understanding in computers even when we consciously know it's just a program. When it says, "I think," our brain just can't help itself. It pictures a mind.
So there's the trade-off, plain and simple. This mental shortcut makes talking to an AI feel natural and easy. But the big drawback is that it sets up false expectations. We expect it to be consistent and have stable beliefs, because that's what minds do. But the system we're talking to doesn't have one.
All right, let's bring it all home. We can put these pieces together now and finally clear up that confusion about the blue car. First off, the AI didn't remember you liked blue. The whole idea of remembering or having a preference, that's a feature of a mind. The AI doesn't have one. It's not keeping a little file on you and your color choices. And here's the most important part. Every single prompt is a brand new task. It's a clean slate. Just like the person in the Chinese room gets a new piece of paper, the AI gets your new question and starts the matching process all over again.
pretty much independent of what came before.
Which means it couldn't have contradicted itself, because it never had a belief to contradict in the first place. The contradiction only existed in our heads, in the story we were telling ourselves about the AI having a mind. The system just saw two different inputs that needed two different outputs.
So, at the end of the day, the confusion didn't come from a buggy or weird AI. It came from our own brains being a little too good at their job. We're wired to see minds everywhere, and in this case, that powerful, usually helpful intuition just led us down the wrong path.
The system wasn't being inconsistent. It was working exactly the way it was designed to, as a breathtakingly powerful symbol processor, not a thinker. And knowing that, it doesn't fix the AI, but it does fix the confusion. This explains why the system behaved that way.